Welcome to the Malted Minis, brought to you by the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Gillick, joined always with
Brandon Winninger.
Welcome, everybody. It's another week of a Malted Mini. The summer is tough to get together. It really is. It was tough with, trying to get Dan and Clark, and now I feel like even you and I, it's a little tough to try and get together for certain episodes. And I know we've got stuff kind of planned ahead, and we had to postpone an episode that, the Temperance episode that we were supposed to be releasing today when this episode is coming out. That had to get pushed back. I wasn't able to do it, so we're going to reschedule. But yeah, it just, doing the podcast is kind of tough sometimes.
Yes.
But here we are. Brandon and I are recording this on a Friday night, which makes the most sense for he and I to do this. Brandon, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Tired. Was a late night last night.
I was just about to ask, what were you doing last night, and who were you with?
I was rocking out to some Guns N' Roses at Wrigley Field with some people from my family, so my wife and my sister. And
I like that you were right away, some people from my family, my wife.
Yeah. Two of them are one of my sisters, two of my cousins, my cousin's friend, and then my cousin's boyfriend. And then we were joined by none other than Matthew from Old Irving Brewery.
That's awesome that, he came with.
Yeah, we had...
or he went with.
So we had a situation. So two people that were supposed to go had to drop out. One dropped out because she had a trip to Connecticut coming up this weekend, and she was kind of nervous about COVID spikes and
sure,
didn't want to risk not being able to go on her trip to Connecticut. Totally understand that.
Absolutely.
And then another friend of ours, his dad is not doing so well, so he opted to stay home and take care of him. So
also makes sense.
So that happened. So we ended up with actually two. We tried to sell the one ticket, and then. My buddy, whose dad wasn't doing well, he said, just give it away to somebody, have a good time. And so I took that ticket, and I told Matthew this too. I was full transparency, I asked Tony first, hey. It's hey, remember when
you're number two?
Should have been remember when you were supposed to watch my kid tonight, and now you're not, and you want to just go to that show?
I mean, I'll say this. I really do appreciate the offer, and when I saw the text, I was like, I really want to go, but we just have a lot going on, and it just would. And I'll be honest, it was hot as fuck.
Oh, it was hot.
We're coming off of a nice little heat wave here in Chicago, but I do appreciate that you reached out to me, and I'm very happy that Matthew was number two and that he was the one that filled that spot.
Yeah, it worked out beautifully. So he met us over there. Because he lives in, I think, Rogers Park area. So he's not far. Got home. He's close to the red line. He said he just hopped on the train and met us over there. And he was lucky because he had thought there's a liquor store or bar/liquor store, something in Romeoville that they do something on the last Thursday of the month, bingo or whatever, and I guess all day yesterday he thought it was the last Thursday of the month, and it's not, which is next Thursday.
That's next week. Literally, I think that's the last day of the week.
Yeah.
Or the month, I mean.
Yeah, so he almost went out to Romeoville, but then when I texted him, I was like, hey man, really random and last minute, but would you be interested in going to Guns N' Roses tonight at Wrigley Field for free? And he just he sent the thinking emoji, and he was like, you know what? It just so happens that the beer event that I thought I was supposed to do tonight is not until next week. What time are you thinking? And I was like,
that's awesome.
A little after 6. So yeah, we met him at Lucky Door. And for us, it was super easy. So my sister ended up watching Benjamin, and she lives kind of near my dad.
Which
my sister Laura.
Thank you, Laura, by the way, for filling in for me and my wife, Laura.
She lives in Lincoln Square. Oh, yeah, and it's funny.
Perfect.
Because, my nephew, Sammy, he's 6. Benjamin's 4. They get along really well, but it's funny because...
Benjamin loves Sammy.
He gets really confused. He goes, who's Sammy's mommy? Is it Aunt Laura or Auntie Laura? And I was like... Like they both could be the same. I was like, but like he was thinking of your Laura, which was funny.
Yeah, that's really funny.
And I'm like, I don't know if Tony's Laura has a mixed kid somewhere that nobody knows about.
Nope, that is not the case. We just got the one kid, and she's awesome.
Yeah. So,
also, Sammy is awesome.
Yeah. So
throwing that out there.
So that worked out. So we drove over there. My sister. So the block my sister lives on, the one Laura lives on, it's like 3 or 4 blocks away from my dad. But my sister Trisha drove and met us out in front. And down the block, my aunt and uncle live literally on the same block as my sister. My aunt and uncle live there, and that's one of my cousins that was coming. So she met us there. We just ordered the Uber XL, and it was like I was shocked.
That's perfect, man. That's
and awesome. I was shocked how easy it was to get there. Like we hit barely any traffic. It took us like 20 minutes to get there.
That's like any other time. If you're driving in Chicago, it takes you 20 minutes to get anywhere.
And then getting out of there was super easy as well. We walked down Addison a little bit.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Like we did for the Foo Fighters.
And we got to right in front of Guthrie's Tavern. Like I
nice.
Put in a request because now, so around Wrigley now there's like a barrier with Uber that you cannot request rides in this barrier. You have to step outside of the barrier, and then suddenly you can request a ride again. But yeah, so it worked out easily. Did end up getting home at about midnight, or maybe like 11:30.
I think you, I don't know if you messaged me or sent me a TikTok.
I probably did around.
I saw you hop online because I was still awake and I was on YouTube or something on my Xbox, and I think I saw that you hopped on. I think it was like 11:30, so that's not too bad.
Yeah. It was, I think it was probably around there. It was closer to midnight, though, because I put Benjamin to sleep, and, like, he didn't fall asleep at my sister's house, so we picked him up at, like, 11:15, so he didn't sleep there, and I was like, oh, great, he's going to come home, he's going to pass the fuck right out. Nope.
Yeah.
He was, like, fooling around for a little bit, and then I was, like, he just, like, flops around and just, like, giggles and stuff like that when he's, like, but I could tell he was, like, extra tired. So
he's like me. When we go to Beer Fest and I'm in the hotel room and you're like, I'm going to sleep, and I'm like, I'm going to flop around and watch some HBO.
So yeah, he finally fell asleep. I came down here with the intention to shower, but I also didn't eat anything. I only had like 3 beers, so it was like, that was fine.
Yeah, but even like if like from lunch and then not having dinner, 3 beers can feel like, I mean, not. Oh, it's feeling pretty good.
I did snack through the afternoon, so that's like when they. But anyway, so like
But 3 beers makes you feel pretty good. You're not like drunk, but you're feeling okay.
I grabbed a Lunchables and I came downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
And it felt like such a stoner thing, like get some Lunchables.
What kind of Lunchable was it?
It was like turkey and cheese, and it had the 2 Oreo cookies in there.
Ooh, there's Oreo cookies in Lunchables?
Heck yeah.
Wow. I just remember getting Lunchables that were like, I don't remember
they're generic.
Being like a fun dessert.
They're generic Oreos.
Yeah. Well, it sounds way cooler, though. I mean, I don't remember getting a Lunchable that had like a cool dessert in there like that. I just remember it being like, here's some meat, cheese, and a cracker. Sorry, you're poor, Tony.
Did you ever have the pizza? I've never had the pizza one, I don't think.
Oh, no. The pizza one's great if you have a microwave, because if you don't have a microwave, it's like, here's a cold pizza with like cold crust. I don't even know how that became like an actual like marketable thing where they're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go ahead and just make like a Lunchable where it's like cold pizza.
Yeah. Hey kids, you want to eat like you have a power outage? You can't cook your food? Or your gas is out?
Want to eat like it's the apocalypse and all you can find was a Lunchable that hasn't expired?
Yeah.
Here's pizza.
Yeah, so I had every intention of like taking a shower and like then going straight to bed. And then I was like sat there like watching The Office for a while. And then I fell asleep for a little bit. Then I woke up not thinking I dozed off for like 5 minutes, and then I just kept watching TV, and then I looked at it was like almost 2:00. I was like, I should probably go to bed.
That was like me when we went to the Jimmy Eat World Manchester Orchestra show, because I think I got home. You dropped me off, which, by the way, again, thank you for driving. And I tried to go, like, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch TV for a little bit. And I did the same thing where I was like, I'm going to lay on the couch. And I think I was watching, like, Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations, because I'm going through that entire series because it's now on Max, formerly HBO.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and then I think I even texted you. I'm like, yeah, I fell asleep around this time. But I think I woke up, and I was like, is this the same episode? And then I just kept kind of watching it because I was, like, in a daze. and I think I was up for like 20 more minutes, and then finally fell asleep like around 1:30, 2 o'clock or whatever. Concerts during the week are rough.
Yeah, I was surprisingly pretty okay this morning, and Becca, on the other hand, I think she ended up having to take a half day because she was like, dude, I just kept falling asleep. I was like, I hear you. It happens.
Yeah, sometimes that happens, man. I mean, that's like I said, like sometimes I go to concerts in the middle of the week where I'm like, oh, this is fine. Like I've gone and seen Tool where I thought like, oh man, we're seeing Tool and everyone's buying beers and stuff, but like I was also responsible and drank a bunch of water and ate a full meal. And then when we got out of there, I came home and I was like, I'm gonna drink some water and go to bed. And it's like 11:30, and I wake up and I'm like, well, ready to go. Yeah. Let's start the work day. Yeah. We'll see how we fare with Riot Fest coming up very soon.
Yay!
Luckily, it's Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. We'll see how that all pans out.
Yeah,
maybe we could watch like 2 songs from The Cure, and then I'll probably be ready to go.
Yeah. Hey, I saw The Cure. All right, time to go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now that we're all caught up, yeah, I have nothing going on. By the way, that's it. There's nothing. I'm glad you saw Guns N' Roses. I'm glad Matthew went with you. I actually reached out to him to see how it was, and they released a triple hazy IPA that was called. It's called like Teddy Bear. Oh fuck, what is it called?
Teddy Bear Adventures or something. I had it.
Oh, did you? How was it?
It was delicious.
That artwork is super. In fact, that's where that the conversation started. I said, "Oh yeah, the Teddy Bear Apocalypse art is crazy." And Matthew was like, "I love Tim sometimes," which I think that he actually loves Tim all the time. He's just downplaying it, and I think he's got a couple of stickers of it. So he said if I wanted one, I can get it. So Matthew, I'm holding you to it. Hold on to one for me. Thank you very much. But yeah, he said he had a great time, and that's awesome. That's super cool. I'm glad that's who took my possible spot. So good job. Yeah. And how was Guns N' Roses? Was Guns N' Roses?
Yeah, good? It blows my fucking mind. Like me and Matthew were talking, and it's like we were both convinced that Slash is just a CGI and like not real. I'm like,
Slash doesn't age, and he just sounds.
And I'm like, how is he that old? Like literally playing so fast, so consistently, like throughout the entire show. They played from 7:30 to just after 10:30, I think.
Oh man, that's awesome. And I mean, when you're playing that long in your Guns N' Roses, I mean, you're playing all the hits. How was Axl? I saw a couple of videos where Axl didn't sound all that great, but I mean, dude, Axl's
he's 61. But what I find interesting about it is his voice got better as the show went on, and I could tell like he kept trying, like because he was wearing a wireless pack on his back, and I think
I see you doing the movement.
And I think he kept trying to adjust it. And like because you would hear him, and then he would like. There's some parts where it just kind of sounded wavy, or he would fade out. But then like the last like hour of the show, I feel like they somehow like nailed his audio, and he sounded really good, which was great because then he got into doing like November Rain and Sweet Child of Mine, and like
oh man, November Rain, that'd be so great to see live. What was? Do you remember what the last song was?
Paradise City.
I was just gonna say it's got to be Paradise City.
Yep.
Right?
So there was. I Googled their set list, and I found their set list, and like I found it like halfway through the show, and they pretty much followed it to a T, except for like the last 3 songs. There was supposed to be one cover of I don't remember, and then the Bob Dylan cover, "Knocking on Heaven's Door," and then they were supposed to. It said they typically had ended with "Night Train."
Oh man!
So they did "Night Train," and I'm like, oh, this is the last song, and then they kept playing. And they played like 4 or 5 more songs.
That's awesome.
And
I love setlist.com or whatever that is. So you can see what bands are playing.
Yeah, I forget what site it was that I found that at, but whatever, they ended up playing like 4 or 5 more songs, which was awesome. And I think Axl even commented there was a song about he was singing a song. He's like, the point, the story behind this song, or the moral of this song is you get into this sometimes, and I may possibly get into it halfway through this song, which I think that means that they went over their curfew. They were supposed to be done by a certain time, and then they just kept going. Because
I love it.
If I remember correctly, like it was always like when we were growing up, like curfew during the week is 10:30.
Right.
And if it's an all ages show, they had to end the shows by 10. I thought, because
I think it's still 10:30.
Well, the show has to end at 10:30.
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not 100%.
So I always thought things had to end at 10, so
between 10 and 10:30
to give people time to get home. So
yeah,
but I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know how many cops are stopping kids from coming from concerts, especially Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. Well, most of them with their parents, anyways. Like, there were some young dudes like maybe like 10 years old, like sitting in front of us, a couple rows up. And it felt kind of bad though, because the parents were completely oblivious to their kids. Well, the mom had one kid like on her back, and then there was the dad, and then there was their other kid was sitting next to him, and just had his hands like covering his ears the entire time.
Gotta have those.
And they were not even like paying attention to him. I was like,
at least some earplugs.
Yeah, come on, man.
At 10 years old, I mean, Wrigley has, depending on where you're at, there's good sound, there's bad sound. It's still loud regardless.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad you got to do that. That's 2 concerts in 2 weeks for you. Way to go.
Yay!
You're really turning into a regular Tony over here. All right, let's get into these beers, because that's what this show is about. But everybody, thanks for listening to us catch up, because Brandon and I are so busy. We text randomly. We plan these meals based on TikTok recipes that we see, and we never do them. And then we get together on these episodes, and it's our chance to catch up. And I feel like, we're catching up with you guys. So you guys know what we're doing. So that's what's going on. Brandon, what the hell are you drinking tonight?
So I am drinking an old... I'm looking up the beer, too.
I don't know.
Let's see if I can find a description. So I've had this before. I swear I gave you one of these, but it is Old Irving Brewing's Bloodletter.
Oh yeah, you gave me one of those, and I think I may have actually drank another one of those at your house. We were on vacation.
That's fine
because it's a house lager.
Yeah,
I know. I would never drink a beer. I mean, for the most part, I know you just give me the okay, but there would never be a time where I was like, he's got one of these left. I'm gonna drink this Helles lager. He won't care. Tell us about it, man.
So it is a Helles lager. I can't find it. I literally am looking up. Oh, that's right. It's called a different kind of Helles. I'm so dumb. It's not called Bloodletter, everybody. I forget. Bloodletter is...
That's the band.
Yeah, but funny, I think they did a beer called Bloodletter at one point, and it was a red IPA.
I thought so. Oh, yeah, you're right. They did. And I think they're about to do it again.
Ooh.
If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Matthew, can you confirm that with us? Thank you.
So a different kind of Helles is brewed with a grain bill, including torrefied maize and lightly hopped with noble hop Saaz. I remember that. So it's corn based.
Yeah, and when I read that or saw that, I know that's a base grain. I wonder what other grains ended up in.
I don't know.
If anything.
But it's a collab with Chicago metal band Bloodletter, which we've said. And this is... So the first time I had it, I was kind of blown away. It is very reminiscent of the styles of, like, traditional German lagers. There's... I don't know if there's people that think, like, the corn in beer is a bad thing. But whatever, like, the clarity on this is, like... It's not super clear. It's got a little bit of haze to it. And it's not just my glass being, like, hazy. Like, the beer is, like, not clear. And I don't know,
but it's not like foggy or super.
No. But that's just curious because of like, isn't there like if you use corn or is it just rice? But I thought corn sometimes helps clarify things too. No, maybe it's just just rice.
Yeah, rice hulls. Rice hulls actually help prevent clogging during the mash.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's super crisp, super clean. The hop bitterness is really really light, so really lends itself to like it says light lager, and it totally falls into that category of a light lager. And this is 100% a beer. I could have multiple of these because it's just it's lightly carbonated as well.
It's not like it is like a to style type of beer, and it is one of those beers that if you go to Old Irving or you go to somebody's house who is maybe not a craft beer drinker, this is the type of beer you want to bring.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I know people that aren't really into craft beer that would probably get on this. Traditional Coors drinkers and whatever.
I loved it, mainly because I love Helles lagers.
Yeah,
that is one of my favorite types of lagers. Dovetail's Helles lager is fantastic, and I love that this beer in the 12-ounce format. Like, I know it's a collaboration with the band, but man, that's got Matthew, please. Can you guys just, and Trevor, I don't know if Trevor, how often you listen, please, guys, make something like this readily available all the time. Not to say that all the other beers aren't delicious, but a Helles lager is just so good, and I know that Old Irving has stepped up their lager game recently, having many more different types of lagers, but this is one of those beers that's just like, that's a beer, you know what I mean? Like, that's a beer. I don't want to say beer flavored beer, but it's a very approachable beer that anybody who likes beer will thoroughly enjoy that beer.
For those that are interested, it is still on tap at Old Irving.
You were there today.
As of this moment. I was. And I saw some destruction, which was interesting.
R.I.P. a barrel of Krampus.
Yeah, and the one next to us was like crying into another cup.
Did you like my response? Yes, yeah. Please.
Well, I told Becca that, and she was like, and then Benjamin was sitting there, he's like, what's that? And like, I had to explain the story to him, and he's like, oh, whatever.
He's like, I don't really care.
But it was crazy because it was like it was like solidified. Everything that was like pouring off that was like totally solidified, and I was like touching it, and I was like, ooh. And then next to us, I felt bad. Like there was people sitting at a table right next to where that Krampus barrel had exploded. And there was a chair in it, and the guy kept, like, he was talking to his wife, and he kept picking up the chair, and it was just, like, stretchy, like, sticky stuff. And she's like, nobody's sitting in there. Why are you worried about it? But yeah, it was just kind of interesting. And so I texted that picture to Matthew. I was like, so did you guys lose a barrel of Krampus? He goes, no, that's actually where we kill Krampus every year. And then get his skeleton. I was like,
perfect.
Good response.
That makes
good
sense.
Response.
That does make sense. So, yeah, I mean, that's the only way you can really make Krampus.
Yeah.
So
but then as like Becca got like super curious, and we were looking at all of the barrels like along the wall, and all of them were leaking.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's so cool. Like if you ever,
I wonder if it's because of the heat.
But at Rev on Kedzie, like there are certain barrels that have that syrupy discharge that's just leaking kind of out. It's not like dripping, but it's like this goo almost that just oozes out. It's really cool to see. We should make candy with it.
I told the guy, I think in the spring, we were going almost every Friday. Like, Old Irving was our spot. We'd pick up Benjamin from school, go to Old Irving. We had the same server every time, this guy David. So shout out to David for being an awesome server. So today we were like in a different spot, but we had David again. And I was like, is there any way, I was like, can I get what was the teddy bear apocalypse? I was like, can I get that? And he's like, yeah, sure. I was like, and can I also get a small pour, like just like a taster of the barrel-aged Trail Buddies?
When I saw that, I'm like, man, that's the only beer he's having. Because I didn't know he was like, tasty.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, you want like a taster or like a sample? And I was like, can you do a sample? And he's like, well,
can you do an in between?
Is that he would. Well, because I feel like with that one they try not to give out samples.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's probably limited.
I still haven't tried it yet.
But the guy was like, David was like, he's like, you guys are here a lot. I know you guys come here a lot. You're cool. I said, I'll let Matthew know cool. that you took care of us.
And he's like, fuck Matthew.
And I said, and I'm gonna, and they had cans there, so I bought 2 cans on my way out.
Oh, nice, cool, man. I'm sure I'll try one of those with you.
Yeah,
thanks.
But yeah, and it was super fucking good. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
I liked it better than I feel like the tastes that I enjoyed of the regular Trail Buddies was enhanced by the barrel, and it tweaked down the sweetness just enough to where it was like this is good.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you, because I saw Clark check into it. I think he got, I don't know, they're 2-packs or 4-packs? 2-packs?
Yeah, it was 2-pack.
Yeah, I think Clark got one, and he checked it in, and I asked, I go, how's the sweetness on it? Because I do like Trail Buddies. I think you got Trail Buddies, or I got Trail Buddies, or we both got Trail Buddies at different times. But when we were at the Beer, Bacon, and Cheese Festival in New Glarus last year, they had, I don't know if Matthew or Tim or whoever gave us a Trail Buddies, and I don't know if we drank it then or whatever, but it's a really good beer. And that's a collaboration with Maplewood, correct?
I believe so.
It is. Yeah. If I'm wrong, Matthew, please correct me. I remember it being very good, but it's also like really sweet. And it's not sweet in the sense where it's like, oh man, I can't drink this on my own. It's sweet in the sense where it's like, I'm going to stretch this out for a little bit and enjoy it. Like drinking that type of adjuncted imperial stout that is that sweet. It's kind of like, it was definitely less sweet than Hubbard's Cave, and I'm not knocking Hubbard's Cave at all. It's just what I have as my, point of reference. So that was my question that I asked Clark, and Clark said the same thing. He said that it's like a little bit less sweet because of the barrel, which I think is nice. Like, that's a great beer to be barrel aged, and I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad that they took it and threw it in some barrels. And I feel like Matthew told us that around the time of New Glarus, the Beer, Bacon, and Cheese Festival last year, that they were doing that. All right, so how many... What's the name of the band again?
Bloodletter.
How many drops of blood are you giving that beer?
I'm going to go 4.3.
4.3 drops of blood.
Yeah.
I think when I rated it, and I don't know if anybody wants to correct me on that, on Untapped, let me know. I think I gave that a 4.25 when I had it. Okay. I think I remember enjoying it very much, and yeah, that's hell.
You haven't checked it in.
What?
Yeah.
I gotta randomly check that in now, because I remember that being a 4.25. Because you gave me a can. I didn't check it in when you gave me the can. Huh, interesting.
Mm.
I must have drank that night that you gave me, and I was like, I don't want these guys to know I'm drinking a beer after an episode, because we drank all these beers. Well, that's good, yeah. I gave that 4.25. Yeah, so we're in the same camp there. Very good, Old Irving. Please keep making Hellas lagers and lagers like that, because all of your beers are good. By the way, even though Matthew and Tim and Trevor have been on the show, and Matthew's been on the show a bunch, and they're friends of ours, I just want to reiterate, they literally are like such a great brewery, and they're super cool, and their beer's fantastic, and their food's great, and their facility is great. Like, they don't give us anything to talk about them. Like, they really are just such a fucking fantastic brewery, and it's so nice that that's in the neighborhood. Like, I feel very lucky. I mean, there's tons of people who live in different neighborhoods where you got like Half Acre or Hop Butcher, same neighborhood, Off Color, like just whatever breweries in your neighborhood. It's nice to know that you have like a really good brewery that's putting out very good beers. It's a good place to go to, and there's cool people there and great staff, and it's nice that Old Irving is ours. So I feel like that's why we talk about them so much, and they're super cool and fun.
Yeah, I did have I had the burger of the week today, which was...
Which one was that?
It was the brat burger.
Oh, hey,
literally had a brat and a burger on it. It was so good.
That sounds delicious. But by the way, you and I send a lot of TikToks to each other. By the way, Brandon and I are on TikTok. Did you send it to me, or did I send it to you? Because I know that maybe I received it where a guy makes a burger.
The brat patty?
Yeah.
Did I send that to you?
Yeah, you sent that to me?
I sent it to you.
We got to do that.
I saw that, and I was like, that's fucking ingenious.
That's like the best Oktoberfest burger right there. You just cut open the casing, you take all the meat that's seasoned for a brat, and you make it into a patty, and that's it. Do whatever you want otherwise, but like grilled onions and some mustard, and really I feel like that's all you need. That's a fantastic...
You should just do our, and I know you do your Halloween party, but maybe I can convince Becca that we just need to do like...
An Oktoberfest.
An Oktoberfest,
Please do an Oktoberfest. That would be fun. You know what? That would be a really fun party at your house, is an Oktoberfest. I will help make pretzels or whatever you want. Anyway, moving on to the next beer, which is my beer, which apparently I haven't had this beer since 2018, and I feel like I've had it since then, but I don't always check them all in. And This was probably in my heyday of like a lot of people before. I feel like Noon Whistle and Hop Butcher, no offense, Old Irving, at one point really just, it was Noon Whistle who was cranking out their Gummy series, and that was like a really big hazy IPA thing for Chicago. And again, no offense to like Alarmist and anybody else who's cranking out hazy IPAs, but I remember Noon Whistle just being like one of the ones where I was like, oh shit, Noon Whistle. I mean, they're these Gummy hazy IPAs are so good, and now they have like, mix packs and all these different ones that come out every year throughout the year. So this one that I'm drinking tonight is the hazy IPA Squishy Gummy, which is 7.1% alcohol. And this hazy IPA is a big old hazy juice bomb packed with Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe hops, giving off flavors of bright citrus, passion fruit, berry, and pine. So, with that being said, when I checked it in back in 2018, I was like, ooh, this is delicious. I still feel that way. Aroma-wise, there is a lot of that. Hold on, let me go back there because I know it said passion fruit. I'm jumping around through tabs here. I get a lot of passion fruit, berry, not so much pine. The citrus is in the taste. Now, when I checked this in earlier, there's something about this beer, and it's got to be whatever the hop balance is here. There's like this earthiness to it. And when I say earthiness, I don't mean it negatively, but I will say that it's probably not one of my favorite gummies. Ooh. But I'm saying that in the sense that like I won't not buy this again. You know what I mean? Like there's just this like specific taste to it that's like, I don't know, it could be my palate. I've got 2 more left that I'll probably have one of them again this weekend and try it again. But there's this like this earthiness, and it's not dirt or plant or floral. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. That's just kind of like I don't know if I want this right now. But there is that like citrus, berry, and passion fruit. I mean, the aroma on this beer is really good. Like that's when I do hazy IPAs or I'm drinking hazy IPAs, or when people are like breweries are brewing IPAs, or at least home brewers, this is the aroma that you want. Like it's like stone fruit, passion fruit, maybe some peach. I don't know, but
wait. So which gummy is it?
Squishy Gummy.
Okay. The funny thing is, I think I've only had one gummy from Noon Whistle. And it was the Papaya Gummy Vortex.
Yes, I did a video during the pandemic.
Yeah, I had it on tap somewhere. Oh, probably at Jerry's. Yeah, it was at Jerry's. It was good.
Yeah, their gummy series is really awesome, and like, geez, I know they do like a spicy one. I don't remember. I'm trying to let's see. Oh, gummy beers. Here we go. Gummy Vortex, Gummy Apocalypse, Squishy Gummy, Don't Worry, Be Gummy. The occasional ones are Paranormal Gummy, which has ghost pepper in it, if I'm not mistaken. Gummy Banter, Cubby Gummy, Gummy Yamiski, Gummy Colada, Sticky Gummy, Papaya Gummy Vortex, Gummytron, Gummysicle, Let's Gummy, Mosaic Gummy, Funny Gummy. There's so many of it. Oh, You Big Gummy. I remember liking that one a lot. There you go. Ghostface Gummy. That's the pepper one. Ghostface Gummy, which is hilarious, is mango and a hint of spicy peppers. But yeah, 2-bit gummy. I'm almost positive I've tried almost all of these. And this isn't like, I think the best buy on this is October. So it's not a super old beer. So it's not like, oh man, I got this old beer from Mariano, so I'm not feeling it. But just something about it. It's got to be the hops, the hop combination in here in my palate right now. That I'm just like, I like it. And I'll tell you this. There we go. Burped up. I think I've said this before on the show, that there are hazy IPAs, like when I burp, it's a really pleasant flavor. It's like, here's all this citrus and passion fruit and all that other like fruitiness that comes up that's actually I mean, number one, you're getting all that gas out of your gut, but it's also tastes like the hops, and it's very good. So overall, I originally gave this beer 4, and we're gonna go with gummy bears on this one.
Okay. How many gummy bears?
3.75 gummy bears. Gummy beers.
Gummy beers.
Yeah. I like it. It's not my favorite, and but it's not a knock on Noon Whistle. It's just maybe that's the way I'm feeling it right now, because their squishy or their gummy series is very tasty, and it's definitely before like Hot Butcher was like the craze of the week, where now you can get it all the time. Like I remember Noon Whistle being the hazy IPAs that I was going for all the time, which I still do. I when I see different ones from Noon Whistle, I always, at least when I see one of the 4-packs that come out all year long, I'll grab one of them at least.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever surprised when I see you check into a Noon Whistle beer.
Yeah, and Noon Whistle also does a lot of other really good beers, but you know, we're still in the haze phase, as we're, I think, leaning more into the lager lanes. I was trying to find a way to make that sound cooler. But yeah, I mean, it's solid beer. It looks great. It's got that nice bright orange color from a hazy IPA. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the aroma on it is really, really nice. And if I had a candle, I could burn like this, just like a barrel-aged beer, I would burn this all the time. I'd switch, like during the warmer months, burn a candle that smells like this. Colder months, burn a candle that smells like Bourbon County.
I know you said the drink by date or whatever is in October, but I'm curious to know like when they actually brewed it. Like, is this like
Let me
6
check.
month time? Oh,
because their cans have really good dates on there. There's like a born on date. Hold on, let me grab my phone. Because, yeah, that's because there were some other ones that were there. There were some other gummies that Mariano's put out. This is packaged on July 25th, 2023. So a month ago. So with the way that hazy IPAs go these days, especially with ones that are local, how they do it, like the shelf stabilization of some of these hazy IPAs is way better than it used to be. So we're not, like, it's not like purple. It's not, there's no weird flavor. I really do believe that it's just my palate right now. And that I feel like other people would get something else from this. So that's a personal 3.75. I rated it 4 when I first had it and said it was delicious. And it was really good. So, you know, it's still a good beer. Just right now, not totally feeling it, you know?
yep. Oh, that's okay.
That's what the show's about. Just our opinions. And thanks for listening to our opinions.
You're not going to like everything you drink.
I mean, for the most part, we're pretty nice about the beers that we have, but there's other beers where we're like, oof, I don't know about that. All right, man. Well, Brandon, you got anything else you want to throw out here?
No, but I did make some venison jerky that I have for you.
Oh, boy. That is exciting. By the way, I did try the lamb jerky. It's good.
Is it gamey?
No, the rosemary's a lot.
Oh,
so
interesting.
I don't know if I'll finish this one. I've gotten like a quarter.
Bring it to work.
Into it. No, great idea. It's going in on Monday. And actually, somebody at work recently asked, "Do you need more jerky from your friend?" I'm like, "Chill out, man. I'm like, he's paying for that. Unless we're setting up a GoFundMe for Brandon and his fucking jerky. You'll get fucking jerky when he gives it to me. Okay."
So this one's kind of interesting. So I did it the normal time, and like when I was putting it in the dehydrator, it was like extra wet. Like it was just really juicy, like meat, and it was like falling apart. Like I was trying to put it into strips, and it was like coming out weird. So I put it in, and I was like, this will definitely go the normal time, be fine. And then I came about, like normally lately I've been doing almost 8 hours. This one I came down, I checked it about 7.5. And I was like, I couldn't pull the trays out because like it was drying weird. Whoa. And like it was pulling the trays up, and I was like, I started pulling off. I'm like, fucking made beef jerky crackers. So some of them are like really like it, but I had it. I'm like, regardless of how weird this texture kind of like you know, it being kind of crackery, I'm like, it is like really fucking good.
Weird texture, like it's dry and it's kind of crumbly, like crunchy.
No, it's literally almost like eating a cracker. Like,
interesting. Because there's been some jerkies that you've made that have been like not dry, but like.
I mean, this is dry, but like the flavor was really fucking good, and the heat came through nicely. Like this was the first one. Like I went upstairs. I went upstairs and I was like, oh, Becca's like, what's wrong? I'm like, that fucking jerky's sticking with me, man. Like,
what did you make it spicy with?
Jalapenos, Carolina Reapers, and some ghost pepper.
Son of a bitch! I can't wait to bring that to work.
And then I did some like my normal. It's got sugar in it, soy sauce, wash your sister sauce. Girl.
It wouldn't be a malting hour episode if Aggie didn't just pop up in there.
And then I put in
whatchamacallit, you put in whatchamacallit candy bars?
Totally. Pink curing salt.
Nice.
To make it a little more shelf stable. So
just so you know, with the last 2 batches that I shared at work, the one that was, I forget which one, was the brisket one spicier?
Yeah.
The guy, Phil, who is in purchasing at my job, he and I would, after he tried, he goes, wow, this is really good. And every day he'd come by my area and he's like, all right, it's 10 o'clock. We have to have a piece together, because we both had like empty stomachs and we were going to see like what would happen when we had it. It didn't feel great, but it didn't feel terrible. But we kept it and going. Like we built up a tolerance for a while after. It's like we're gonna have 2 pieces now because like our stomachs are used to it. So yeah. I'm looking forward to getting that from you and sharing it.
Yeah, the last one. So the last 2 was the brisket one, and then the other one was mango habanero.
Oh yeah, the mango habanero one went fast because it was sweet, delicious, and it was just easy to eat. Everybody ate it.
Yeah. Sweet. Glad they liked it.
Yeah, man. We all loved it. All right, buddy. Well, I think that's it for this week. Everybody, thank you for listening, subscribing, liking, commenting on things. We really appreciate it. And if we don't reply to you right away, either Brandon and I will do it. Sometimes I open up a message and don't respond, and then Brandon doesn't see it. Or Brandon's already responded, and I was about to respond, and I'm like, oh, shit, he already did it. But we appreciate all the messages and comments, and everybody that listens, thank you very much. We like it. We like you guys. We love you guys, and we wouldn't be doing this without you. Clark and Dan will return at some point. It's just a tough time with
someday.
School, sports, and this is all for kids. School, sports, summer ending, but we're getting to the point where it might be a little bit easier for us to start sneaking in some episodes together. So, as I've always said, Clark will be back, and Dan, well, so will he. And probably Matthew. Matthew will probably be back soon, too. So, Matthew, I'm telling you, you got to come back.
Indeed.
All right. Brandon, I love you, buddy.
Love you too, bud.
See you guys next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all 3. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.